Let me sincerely apologize for starting the program today. Standpoint behind schedule. It was due to circumstances beyond our control here. It was with shock that Nigerians watched the hula baloo that played out at the National Assembly complex on Tuesday morning as operative of the Department of State Service laid siege to the National Assembly, blocked the entrance gates to the complex and prevented senators and staff from entering the complex. Was our 19 years of democracy, uninterrupted democracy, about to be truncated in one singular move? Was the question many Nigerians were asking as they watched the commotion that played out. Good afternoon. I welcome you to another edition of Standpoint. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku, and I have in the studio a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, and he was a former governorship aspirant under the defunct All Nigerian All People's Party, ANPP, and he's also a senatorial aspirant to the Lagos East Senatorial District, talking about Chief Lanre Rasak. Thank you for having you, joining us, Chief Lanre.
Thank you.
Let me just take you back to your political sojourn before now, because I was about meddling it up. You've registered your name in Lagos politics for a long time. Can you just chronicle a little bit?
Well, I want to thank God for the opportunity God had afforded me to serve humanity. I started my political journey during the UPN era as a secretary of a ward, later graduated to becoming the ward chairman. Later, I became the LJ chairman as the local government chapter of the party. There I became a vice chairman in the state under the leadership of Alhaji Kayode Jakande. During SDP era, I was the vice chairman in the state, and later I became the chairman of AMPP in Lagos State.
Yes.
And while in that party, I was privileged and lucky enough, went through election, and I became the deputy national chairman of the party. I contested alongside with Alani Bankole.
Oh, Chief
Alani
Bankole.
Yes, the father of the Dimeji Bankole. And I won that election. And since then, I've been playing a role to ensure that we develop our nascent democracy. And I'm thanking God that I'm still strong and can still deliver and serve the people better.
A lot of people will be thinking that at this time, with your wealth of experience, you should be like a kingmaker. That's why do you want to throw your heart into the ring?
Well, that is their thinking. But here we are. We're in debt of committed, patriotic people in the affairs of this country. You saw what happened at the National Assembly, and a lot of factors must have been responsible to all those terrible situations. One, level of patriotism. Two, selfish interest and putting economic values and returns higher than the state they want to serve and the people. So therefore, I consider that once we are still around and strong and healthy, we can still offer service on a genuine platform. And this is the very, very important time that our great leader, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who's the national leader of this party, requires committed, genuinely committed party members to give him support so that we can reshape and strengthen the party, so that party supremacy can be brought to play. And those in the party who are elected on the party platform can realize that they won't be there if there is no party, and we should not destroy the party. It's only when the party is strong that we could have a very strong government.
Talking about your political party.
Yes.
I listened to the national chairman yesterday.
Yes.
Calling on the Senate president to resign.
Yes.
And we know the Senate president replied him, and the Senate president said, look, it's only when my colleagues, 73 of them to be precise, that's 2/3 of that house, turn against me or remove me, that is when I can resign. Do you think it is justiciable for the national party, the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress to be calling on for the resignation of the Senate president?
The national chairman of a party is right. We should think of morality in whatever we are doing. And Nigerians should be educated enough to know the type of people they give their vote to. That fellow was in PDP. He wants to be in position at all costs. He wrecked PDP just because that party had destroyed the nation's economy. People thought he was genuine in his approach to join forces with other progressive elements to build a nation. Surprisingly, what played at the inception when he became the Senate president is clear to all Nigerians that he's self-centered person. Is either me or nothing. Is either me, Nigeria collapse. If not, how can you have, if you have the honor and the value that we should have, be elected on the platform of a political party? And where people must have been suspecting the behavior of this person is that he ensured he brought in PDP as his own deputy.
But there's no hard and fast rule, Chief, that says the Senate president must come from the majority party. It is not enshrined in the Constitution, or it is not written anywhere.
Okay. If that's what you are saying, don't you believe that if you don't have a friendly National Assembly, your party in government may not be successful? It's very clear. We are just passing the budget of 1 year in July, 7th month of a 12th month when the budget has to be implemented. What magic will the president play to completely have a reasonable percentage of implementation and performance of that budget in July? It happens because the people at the affairs at the National Assembly cares now. They don't care what happens to the government and the people.
Not because the executive too has been laid back on their...
it was placed in November. They got the budget from the executive in November. And they ought to have passed the budget by January. If they are patriotic, if they are interested in the welfare and well-being of Nigerians. But they failed to.
The executive, they said, wasn't cooperating with them. The MDGs said...
And surprisingly, Mr. President told you that they removed some of the projects earmarked for several ministries and agencies, and they pack it and put it in constituency projects for their personal reason and for their personal enrichment. That is not too good enough. That is not patriotism. We should watch and follow advanced democracy, especially the American presidential system we are running. We should follow what happens in America. I'm not saying that the party should be so followed that they destroy the nation. If there is a clash of interest between the nation and the party, the nation comes first. Is that what is happening now? The answer is no. Every Nigerian, especially those people from Kwara, we appeal to them that Nigerians is not there. We are not happy with what is happening. They represent that part of the country. And they should know that if there are development from their own representative to damage and destroy the country, they have a role to play. That person is not a good representative.
Let's talk about the siege that was laid in the National Assembly last week. And there's been this back and forth between the APC and the People's Democratic Party. It's as if your party is so desperate in getting Bukola Saraki out at all costs. And that might be connected to what happened in the National Assembly last week.
That is not a good and fair comment. We are not desperate to remove Bukola Saraki. We are only desperate to ensure that we have a good country. We have a Nigeria we can be proud of. We have a Nigeria that can meet the need of the people. We have a Nigeria that we are not plunged into another terrible situation like war and all the rest. And if somebody is in a blocking material to create problems for this country, I think it is right for the for the party you have given your mandate to rule you, to ensure that that blocking materials element should be taken out of the way. If Saraki had performed his duties as a fair, sincere, honest Senate president for Nigerians, nobody will worry about whether he's there or not. But the way he's behaving, the way he's performing, his attitude, at all costs person, Nigerians cannot tolerate such a person. And I will agree with Nigerians that there is need to effect a change in the leadership of the Senate so that we can have a peaceful government. And the issue of the SAGE, they are still investigating. Who knows whether they are the one responsible for that? Because if the government is involved, if the presidency is involved, they won't take that kind of action. They were surprised, they were shocked. And if you remember, initially when this set of officers emerged as the National Assembly, you knew what they went through. That could be described as criminal steps. Change the order, change the rules, change everything. We must be there at all costs. Is that the interest of Nigeria? And if they don't want to go, and if they believe they may be removed, there is nothing they cannot do again to sustain their position at the detriment of this country.
What is your own take on cross-carpeting? In parliamentary system, they call it cross-carpeting. I think in most defection, they call it in a presidential system. You were in AMPP before.
Yes.
You moved to the defunct ACN.
Yes.
And what were those circumstances, and how would you describe this phenomenon that is becoming a kind of recurring decima in our political lives?
Well, thank you. I moved out of AMPP when the structures in AMPP were no longer sufficiently strong to place me in a position of winning an election in my own constituency. You remember that you can only win an election, one, if the people strongly believe in you, two, if you have a very good political structure. The two were not there. More importantly, those whom I am leading, they are not too comfortable with that party. And they appeal to me that in the Southwest, they believe in the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And if I still want to lead them, which they are ready to allow me to lead them, I must be behind that gentleman. Because they kept on telling me that they see the man as a future leader of this country. And if it is my intention to serve, I must be behind him so that we can have the credit, joint credit of saving this country. Because with the situation on the ground, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will emerge as a person God has sent to save Nigeria political structure from collapsing. So that's why I changed and I joined him. And since then, he knew, that we have been working assiduously to ensure that we build a very strong political structure that can take care of the need of this country. And that's why when we discover, along the line, you remember that we've been out of democracy for too long, we're in the military. And a lot of people will come together at least to save Nigeria from PDP destruction. And we don't have enough time to look at the contents of some people. Now that we have discovered whom they are, they cannot win election in their constituency, those who claim they are defective. They cannot. Because of the fear that they may not have a ticket of the party, because we've discovered them that they don't have what it takes to serve, and they cannot serve the people honestly and genuinely. So they know that they may not have the ticket from the party, and hence they were deflecting.
Okay, let's quickly take this commercial break, or when we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Standpoint, reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos. Welcome back. This is still Standpoint. The political transfer window is booming right now. Politicians are divorcing and marrying new suitors as 2019 election inches closer. Since Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki defected from the All Progressives Congress, some persons have been calling on him to relinquish his position. But Section 68, subsection G of the Constitution validates defections based on the factionalization of the political party on whose platform elected persons secure their seats. There was a time we had what we call RAPC. Yes. And I think we still have them, led by Chief Galadima. So that's an indication, and they had a press conference that they reformed APC. And on this strength, a lot of lawmakers, both from the House of Representatives and the Senate.
It holds no ground. In one breath, you are saying the APC planned it, and in another breath, you say we are in the hotel. If APC is in the hotel, is it from the hotel they will impeach? They are investigating. At times, people talk about issues they don't have fact about. And how can you claim that the APC arranged and it failed, they are blaming somebody? No. It is the Senate president that wants to have a meeting with the leadership. And the meeting is slated for a particular time of the day. By 7 o'clock, they were there. Their meeting was meant for 10. By 7 o'clock, they were already in the National Assembly and being turned out. People have a strong belief that it is arranged. And if you hear the kind of social media information they were sending out, it looks as it is planned, and it's really planned, has been acted out, a scripted plan somewhere. They are investigating the issues. Let's wait for the details of the investigation to be made public. Then we can be in a position. There is no way somebody can be crying than the bereaved. You can't be more Catholic than the Pope. You cannot assert any facts about issues that you are not part of. More importantly, you've said you are not a politician and you don't know anything about politics and you are not involved. Then where do you get your facts? Is it Saraki that gave them to you, or somebody else who is an eyewitness, which you ought to tell the public? Don't come here, don't let us deceive Nigeria. This country is the only one we have. And every individual, the country is greater than them.
Chief, since the 2015 election, the country has been divided across ethnic and ethnic line. Parties, political parties and ethnic line. When you see a particular region, you will know the tendency, and when you see another region, and since that time, it has been more divided. Your party, what have you done to make sure that winners, losers, there will be, there won't be victor, there won't be vanquished after any election? Because the 2015 episode, I still see it as dividing us, more than anything yet till today.
My dear brother, one thing I will let you know that Nigeria is a united country. Nobody wants this country to be breaking into fragments. Nobody will allow that. It is better we resolve our issues within and continue to develop this country that will be acceptable to all Nigerians. I can assure you of one thing. APC is a national party. And if you see the zoning of leadership and positions in the national executive, it's all Nigerians that are fully represented there. There is no zone that you don't have a working committee member of the party at that, in the party executive. So therefore, Nigeria agreed, and they know too well that we are not operating a regional party. And our leader, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the national leader, is a Yoruba man. The president is an Hausa Fulani man. The vice president is from the southwest, while the position of the Senate president was in the north central. It is geographically zoned out so that the sense of belonging is there for everybody to share and feel. We are not running a party that you would say is not all embracing as a Nigeria party. But the issue is that we must eliminate selfish interest, personal interest. The overriding interest of this nation must take precedence over anybody's personal interest. What is playing in the National Assembly today is personal interest. It must be me at all cost. When somebody will tell you that because he wants to be a Senate leader, he had been at the premises of the National Assembly 5 a.m. and he was hiding himself in a small vehicle. That is not patriotic. There is a party system.
We can't substantiate that. We can't
He made that statement, not hearsay. I saw him made a statement on the national television.
Okay.
And telling Nigerians how he emerged as a Senate president.
Chief, we have a call all the way from the United Kingdom. Ade is calling us from the UK.
Okay, let's
from
hear
England. Thank you, Ade. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. My name is Ade. What I want to point out to you is that if you observe properly, before the Saraki got his judgment from the Supreme Court, he was willing for dialogue then, the way I see things. If you see that immediately he got the judgment, he was free. The first place he visited was River State. That speaks a volume. So after that judgment, there's no way they could persuade him to stay. It's like he has made a covenant underground that if I can win this case, I'm coming to PDP, and I will do your bidding, as what he did before he came to win the president of the Senate. So because of that alliance, which I suspect, then there's no way coming back to APC. So he has to do whatever it takes to satisfy the PDP. That's why I pay a visit to Rivers. I leave you to do that judgment yourself. Immediately after the Supreme Court judgment, because I view everything here from England, I can see the trend and pay homage to Rivers. So what connection is River God? Then Nigeria should decide that. That's my own. But it should vacate the seat. It's never done. Even anywhere in the world, a majority will lead. In England here, it is the Conservatives. Even when they were short about 15 members, they form alliance and they lead. So that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ade, calling all the way from the United Kingdom. Because I wanted to say by Tuesday now, the House is going to reconvene to consider the budget for the supplementary budget for the Independent National Electoral Commission. And some people are saying, there will be agenda on their order paper, and some APC senators are saying before we consider anything, we must talk about leadership. And a lot of people foresee a kind of tussle next Tuesday when the National Assembly reconvenes.
Well, you've had the gentleman who has just spoken. Morality and decency and national issue must be in the front burner. If Saraki is a true Nigerian, if he's committed to continuity and well-being of this country and Nigerians, he should resign. He should resign. We have over 200 million Nigerians. He cannot plunge us into crisis because of his selfish interest. From day one, he was never an APC Senate president. Because you are quoting a law. The law is there, made for man, not man for law. You are quoting a law. Is it morally justifiable that a minority should be in charge of the majority? What I always heard is that minority will have their say, majority will have their way. And that's what should continue to play at the National Assembly. Saraki had lost out in this game, and he should reasonably resign and remain if he chooses to be a senator for the rest of the term. And you saw the rally in Kwara, anti-Saraki rally, and you heard the names they were calling him. A lot of things is involved in this thing. If you go to Ofa, where 33 people were killed, the people who actively participated in the robbery were part of his entourage to the palace of the Olofa.
We can't substantiate that.
The police said so, and I'm coming. Further to that, the vehicle that was involved in the robbery was discovered in government house. They were trying to change the plate number. Hence, the chief of staff who was involved is still with the police. They are answering questions. Where is the morality? And the other time, the governor was saying that it is because of one reason or the other that he has to leave his party. Because of what?
Okay, let's quickly take, John is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, John.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for this program. It has been really very enlightening. But there are certain things that we want to state.
Okay, quickly.
You know, the truth is that a lot of people think that Nigerians are gullible and ignorant. In 2015, when we voted for the APC government, you know, I, for one, I was so certain that the problems with the previous administration will be addressed by the incoming administration. But what we have seen is that it has even become worse. The APC has become a government that is entrenched in vendetta, punishment, and propaganda. If I can remember correctly, the only other government, the only other time that has had this kind of propaganda was the time of Biafra. They relate to us as if we don't know what's happening or we are totally ignorant. Or they are the ones that are living in an alternate reality. Let's talk about the issue of the Senate president. The Senate president was not their choice for the position in the Senate. We saw the same thing play out in Jonathan's administration in the House of Assembly. When I think it was when Tambuwa also, he now became speaker. They all moved on and everything became normal. But since when Saraki became the president of the Senate, it has been one problem or another problem. The APC they have embarked on a vendetta against him.
Thank you, John. Thank you for your contribution, John. Chief, you want to respond to that?
Yes.
John has just made a very serious allegation.
Not understand exactly what he's saying. This APC government is worse than 16 years of PDP. When you had the vice president of this government saying that they recover $3 billion that was stolen during Jonathan's time, they arranged that they gave a contract to a company to lift our oil and pay back. Nothing was paid. And they were able to recover the $3 billion. And they told you the number of roads this money will do for this country. Several in the north, second Niger bridge to be built with this money. They will fix Abeokuta, Lagos Road. They will fix Ibadan, Lagos Road. They will fix Kaduna, Kano, and a lot of roads in the south, and southeast. If a government is coming to stop this serious bad situation, and some people are still blocking the good governance for us, and you think the leadership of APC will fold their arms and allow that to continue, you will not see anything good in this party. Those who cannot feel the bad thing cannot even feel it when it's really good. It has been bad. It has been terribly bad. And Buhari had done a lot to stop the wanton destruction of our country. They may not see it. The railway the rail line they were doing for 11 years, they could not complete. It has been completed and commissioned. Several roads they were working on the railway in the East Axis that could not be completed for several rail lines. It has been completed and it's functioning. The money to use to complete projects that were being stolen, it has been stopped. They will not see anything good in all this. Those who cannot feel good things, of course, maybe they are part of who enjoyed those who are looting our money, and maybe they were benefiting. And since they are no longer getting it, they don't feel happy. And that's why they are part of the element fighting
quickly,
the nation.
They will always tell
part
you
of the element fighting the nation.
Yes,
but
the opposition, they've said
you,
it several times that this fight against corruption is a selective fight. This is a fight corruption. What they will say, immediately a governor falls out from or leaves APC, the next day EFCC will freeze their accounts. It happened in Benue State. It happened in Akwa Ibom State. Can it be a coincidence that immediately these people...
It's all propaganda. The EFCC said within a day, 23 billion was withdrawn for no reasonable or no justifiable project. And they are the people watching to ensure that the public fund is applied for the public interest.
Are you telling me there are no APC governors that might have perpetrated something like that? And
you mentioned if you have anyone.
You turn the other cheek?
You see, most of the job the EFCC is doing is through petition. People petition that this man had this, he expected to do this, he has not done it, he has done this, he has done this, and they move in, and they get facts and figures. If there is one you have that is affecting any APC governor, please exhibit it to the public to know. All this we are saying is one-sided.
A lot of people think your party is using EFCC to intimidate political opponents.
That is not correct.
That they are very selective.
Not with the godly man Buhari. He's a man of God. He had told he won't do that, and he's not going to do that. If you have facts and figures, uncontrovertible facts that you can substantiate, present it, bring it to the public domain, and let all Nigerians hear about it. Then, if the president fails to act on it, then you know it could be one-sided investigation, or you can call it persecution then. But without this, you will always want to say it's one-sided. It's one-sided. Where is the other side that is left out unattended to?
We seem to have a lot of people calling us from the United Kingdom today, and Demola is calling us from London. Thank you for joining us, Demola.
Thank you very much, Ayo, and I appreciate what you are doing, as well as Rasak there.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution.
We are following what is going on from 2015. First and foremost, let me give credit to what is happening. Regionalism, bring this regime. Now, the issue of Saraki, in democracy, the most honorable thing is that when you begin to see you are in minority, in 2015, subtract the supremacy of the party, try to organize and promote its own personal agenda at the detriment of his party. That is not democracy. So our party has done what is right. Resign as minority leader. The only thing for Saraki to do, and now Nigerians should come out, true Democrats should come out and say, resign as senator to president. His position is becoming highly untenable in democracy to sustain this.
Abeokuta, Lagos Road, they will fix Ibadan, Lagos Road, they will fix Kaduna, Kano, and a lot of roads in the south, and southeast. If a government is coming to stop this serious bad situation, and some people are still blocking the good governance for us, and you think the leadership of APC will fold their arms and allow that to continue, you will not see anything good in this party. Those who cannot feel the bad thing cannot even feel it when it's really good. It has been bad. It has been terribly bad. And Buhari had done a lot to stop the wanton destruction of our country. They may not see it. The railway the rail line they were doing for 11 years, they could not complete. It has been completed and commissioned. Several roads they were working on the railway in the East Axis that could not be completed for several rail lines. It has been completed and it's functioning. The money to use to complete projects that were being stolen It has been stopped. They will not see anything good in all this. Those who cannot feel good things, of course, maybe they are part of who enjoyed those who are looting our money, and maybe they were benefiting. And since they are no longer getting it, they don't feel happy. And that's why they are part of the element fighting
quickly,
the nation.
They will always tell
part
you
of the element fighting the nation.
Yes,
but
the opposition, they've said
you,
it several times that this fight against corruption is a selective fight. This is a fight corruption. What they will say, immediately a governor falls out from or leaves APC, the next day EFCC will freeze the account. It happened in Benue State. It happened in Akwa Ibom State. Can it be a coincidence that immediately these people...
It's all propaganda. The EFCC said within a day, 23 billion was withdrawn for no reasonable or no justifiable project. And they are the people watching to ensure that the public fund is applied for the public interest.
Are you telling me there are no APC governors that might have perpetrated something like that? And
you
the
mention
EFCC
if you have anyone.
You turn the other cheek?
You see, most of the job the EFCC is doing is through petition. People petition that this man had this, he expected to do this, he has not done it, he has done this, he has done this, and they move in and they get facts and figures. If there is one you have that is affecting any APC governor, please exhibit it to the public to know. All this we are saying
a lot of people
is one-sided.
A lot of people think your party is using EFCC to intimidate political opponents.
That is not correct.
That they are very selective.
Not with the godly man Buhari. He's a man of God. He had told he won't do that, and he's not going to do that. If you have facts and figures, uncontrovertible facts that you can substantiate, present it, bring it to the public domain, and let all Nigerians hear about it. Then, if the president fails to act on it, then you know it could be one-sided investigation, or you can call it persecution then. But without this, you will always want to say, it's one-sided, it's one-sided. Where is the other side that is left out unattended to?
We seem to have a lot of people calling us from the United Kingdom today, and Demola is calling us from London. Thank you for joining us, Demola.
Thank you very much, Ayo, and I appreciate what you are doing, as well as Rasak there.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution.
We are following what is going on from 2015. First and foremost, let me give credit to what is happening through journalism during this regime. Now, the issue of Saraki, in democracy, the most honorable thing is that when you begin to see you are in minority, since 2015, subtract the supremacy of the party, try to organize and promote its own personal agenda at the detriment of his party. That is not democracy. So Apadi has done what is right. Resign as a minority leader. The only thing for Saraki to do, and now Nigerians should come out, true Democrats should come out and say, resign as senator of the president. His position is becoming highly untenable. In democracy, to sustain this democracy, the individual interest must be highly discounted, and the will of the majority must prevail. That's how democracy can be.
Thank you for your contribution. I'm way out of time.
Chief, you can hear from a true Nigerian that personal interest...
Because he aligns with you, he's a true Nigerian.
No, not with me, with the truth. He aligned with the truth, not with me. I don't know him from Adams, but he's a true Nigerian. He believes that there is always a rule, norms, and unwritten laws in any given situation. You know, and several Nigerians are aware, that the man from the day he became the Senate president was not truly an APC person. Because all the materials he employed to be there is not APC material. And to sustain it, he has been damaging this country seriously, delaying the budget, creating problems. They were asked to pass a law that if anybody steal our money, there should be a special court. Where is the bill today? The bill will not see the light of the day. Because you are asking a corrupt person
Chief,
to provide an instrument of punishment.
At no point in time can we prove that. He has gone to the Supreme Court on this code of conduct allegation and he has been acquitted.
But President submitted a bill requesting for a special court to try.
But you called him a corrupt person. That's what I'm saying, that there's no court that has convicted him. That's what they're accusing your party of doing. Media trial by media.
I said the president submitted a bill that will create special process of trying corrupt persons.
Okay.
And he ensured that bill did not see the light of the day. Is that patriotism? If you look at those who are in charge of his committees and all the rest, they belong to his group, the PDP. And Nigerians should realize that they voted a particular party to run the affairs of this nation.
Let's quickly
They've seen them that they are corrupt, and we thought he has changed, but Leopard never changed it.
Let's move away from the National Assembly now and come back to Lagos State. Yes. You are from Ekpe Senatorial District. You are from Ekpe,
yes,
and you are from the Eastern Senatorial District.
Yes.
Can you, in the last 3-4 years, what has been happening in Lagos State that your party has held sway since 1999 and till now? Your party is still, it's 6 months to election now. We still don't know who is going to come out against Governor Akinwumi Ambode.
You see, thank you for this question. In 1999, when God made it possible for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Asiwaju the Jagaban, to become the president, the governor of this state, he brought about a solid financial engineering that redesigned the entire governance in Lagos without adding additional taxation. He was able to manage the fund. And from just several millions, we moved to billion. Lagos State became a billionaire under Asiwaju's tenure as a governor. And you can imagine, you can list out all projects embarked upon and completed. No abandoned project. Everybody belongs to the party, are part of the government. Open government, participatory, every very, very inclusive kind of government. And that's what we enjoyed is in his term for 8 solid years. After that, he brought in a successor, Raji Fashola, who did another wonderful job. Now, because the foundation is so solid, it was not difficult for Fashola to perform. And when Ambode came, solid foundation. You see wonders this girl had been performing. Go to Abule Egba, within 3 years, see number of bridges. And you see, some of his job may be so small, some of the projects, but they are very scientific and result-oriented. You see the problem at Alakpore traffic situation. When you are coming from Third Mainland Bridge.
There's a lay-by
yes.
now.
The lay-by, you mean, it is the work of a person that has something upstairs to think seriously. How do we provide solution? That is what APC is known for, through a genuine leader.
Finally, let's talk about Lagos East.
Come again to Aja, see what he has done there to eliminate the problem. A lot he had done. A lot he had done. That is the intimidating. Because what do you want to come and tell people in Lagos State that you want to come and contest election against somebody? What do you want to tell them you want to do?
That's what we've not seen. Well, I'm here to see any.
That is the. And let me tell you, and that's why we should respect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Minister for Finance, Adeosun, openly acknowledged that it is the principle of governance she was able to copy from Jagaban Bogu, that she applied at the federal level, that they're getting good results. Look at what Fowler is doing on revenue collection. Asiwaju discovered Fowler in Lagos State to work for the Lagos State Internal Revenue Board.
Why Lagos East Senatorial District? What's the interest there? What do you want to go and do in, the Senate?
I have a lot to over. I have been in this game in the last 45 years, and I've acquired a lot of experience on how to do it and do it better. We are talking of the National Assembly and the rot we are discussing there. Few members who had passed through committed patriotic Nigerians, they can effect a change for better. And I know I can be there to be part of those who will provide quantitative, solid, good legislation that can improve the lot of the country governance. And those are the things that informed me. We have gotten to a point that those who will be there should not be those who want to be so materialistic. All they are thinking is how to acquire money, when you acquire this money, where will you take it to? Whether you like it or not, all of us without exception, we're all going to pass away in that biological sequence. Why don't you talk of others? Obafemi Awolowo had been talking is that it's not even life that matters, but the courage you bring to it. And some of us had found that we want to ensure that we leave the world better than we met it. Through contributions, through improvement of humanity.
We have to
and those are the things that are agitating in our mind. When you see people doing it wrong way, then we think we can offer a better way to do it.
We have to leave it there. I'm afraid our time is fast spent, and that's our package today on Standpoint. I want to thank you so much, Chief Lanre Rasak, and
thank you for bringing me here.
And I wish you the best of luck.
Let the media educate Nigerians. What is happening in the National Assembly today is an aberration.
And it's Standpoint, and I say enjoy the rest of your weekend.